Hello and welcome to another episode of the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 96, part 2 of our 3-gun special. On this show we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. Bandwidth for this episode is brought to you by Patriot Patch Co. Visit patriotpatch.co to get some awesome morale patches made by yours truly and hand-packaged by Jake Challen, the man himself. So head on over to patriotpatch.co and pre-order some of our cool patch designs, including Bullet Bill, which is a baddie from Super Mario. So that's available right now. Today I have with me Chad and Simon. Tony Simon. Well, because I always think of Simon says training, so I always want to say Simon first.
Okay.
So, Tony Simon, that's right. How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
It's going great.
Have you guys done anything cool in guns this week?
Go ahead. Good, at least somebody has.
As I've said before, I live in Jersey, and it takes forever to get your pistol purchasing permit. They have 30 days to legally do it, and here's mine. 60 days later, I was able to get my pistol. So I have my CZ75, all shiny and used, police trade-in from Israel. I'm loving it.
Nice.
Tomorrow I'll take it to the range and blow the dust off of it and see how quickly I can burn through the 9mm I've stockpiled over the last month.
What about you, Chad? Have you pulled any triggers this week?
Let's see, I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, I guess I have. I went to the range like twice last week. Let's see. Bragger, I was on vacation. My vacation consisted of sitting around the house and going to the range. So I loaded some different ammo up, so I had to go try it out. So I did that. Then off of one of the, sell sites, I bought a cheap $10 red dot, and I had to go sight it in on my 1022. So, I did that, and I'm trying to think if I shot anything else. No, that was about all I shot. And then I loaded some more ammo.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been actually spending money faster than I can make it, which is always a good sign of being an adult. Just buying some stuff on DSG Arms. I got 2 Surefire GX or G2X Fury flashlights, and I'm putting one on my AK, one on my AR. Just kind of have 2, rifles that are set up for shooting at night for, whenever that's going to happen. I'm waiting with fingers crossed. Everyone kind of thinks they need one gun for that, stuff hits the fan scenario. So those are pretty nice lights for a pretty good price point. So I got 2, and I thought, I might as well mount them to 2 rifles and kind of leave them there. Better to need them and not, or have them and not need them than need them and not have them, I guess. Which we could say that about everything that we talk about on this podcast.
Yep.
It's horrible.
So besides that, I'm still waiting for that Magpul Hunter 700 stock for my Remington 700 in 300 Blackout. I did see that the Ruger 1022 version of that Magpul stock is being shipped now. So if you guys haven't gotten that email and you pre-ordered a 22 stock from Magpul or one of its distributors, you should be getting that shipped out to you shortly. So that's good news. Hopefully that means that the 700 stocks are going to be shipping out in the next week or 2. But that's about it. That's all I've done. Other announcements, just want to mention that guests are always welcome on the show. You want to email me, cross@firearmsradio.tv, if you want to come on the show and participate. We got another announcement that's unique this week. Chad's got something that he wants to let you guys know what's going on.
Well, here, I think it was Sunday, a friend of mine, his name's Scott Turner, he was injured in a firearms training accident. And so what? He's in the hospital. He'll be fine. He was hit by some shrapnel, is what it looks like. But they're going to have a Man of Steel charity multi-gun shoot down in Tangent, which if you need any more information about it, there's a link to the actual Facebook page in the show notes, and then there's also a link to my Facebook page, so if you have any questions about it. But basically, it's going to be $30 to shoot the match. If you want to, we're trying to get donations for prizes or something to raffle off. And basically, everything's being donated, so 100% of all the money raised is going to go straight to him for his medical bills. And I just figured if anybody was interested or wanted to help out, if anybody wants to donate anything, like I said, they can go to the show notes and contact me, like a Facebook message or something. I'll give them some more information, and that would be great. So that's about all I have on that, but I just figured, hey, I'll say something about it, and we can help a really good guy out and do that. So there you have that.
Yeah. It's always good to help somebody out, especially someone that's so active in educating and instructing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's been a firearms trainer for a long time locally. A lot of people know who he is, so that's a good thing. Great guy. He also, teaches Krav Maga, which not too many people do. He's actually been to Israel to learn from true trainers there on that, so that's always a good thing to have too if you're into that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Is he all right, or is he still in the hospital, or is he okay?
Yeah, they moved him. They moved rooms, so he moved up in the world, so he's getting closer to getting let out. They said a few more days he should be up and out. So.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were thinking.
So, and we got the link to the Facebook page in the show notes for that. If you guys want to look up the show notes for this episode 96 on the Firearms Insider website, you'll be able to navigate to that, or just search Man of Steel multi-gun charity event on Facebook in order to find that page. And also, the promo code for a Bravo concealment, 10% off any order, is still active since we did a review on some of their products. So if you want to purchase anything from Bravo Concealment, use the promo code RTTCombo10 to get 10% off your next order, and that should be available indefinitely. So go ahead and check that out. So this week, we've kind of got like a little bit of a system set up. So last week we ended up talking about shotguns quite a bit for 3-gunning. This week I think we're going to talk about pistols, quite a few different options, and then next week I actually moved everything about carbines to next week. So the 3-gun special is going to be a 3-parter, and so this is part 2, and we're going to be talking pistols this week. So right off the bat, we have the CZ75 SP01 Shadow Target 2. So this is a pretty legit looking pistol, and it's nice to see something not polymer framed for a change. And that's ironic because we are going to get into Glocks later on. So if you're a big polymer fan, don't start writing that hate mail quite yet. So the Target 2 is basically a competition-ready model style of the SP01 Shadow. It's got the custom CZ trigger job with a new short single reset trigger, fully adjustable rear sights, a fiber optic front sight, a stainless steel guide rod, lighter springs for competition. So you've got a 11-pound recoil and 13-pound mainsprings. Extended magazine release, drop-free magazines. The grip is kind of a checkered aluminum, and it was kind of designed by champion shooter Angus Hobdell for CZ's custom shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the MSRP Why don't you go ahead and tell the listeners the MSRP, Chad?
Oh, it's only $1,638.
Just a drop
That's
in the bucket.
that's not bad. I mean, you're getting
Oh,
it says you got a fancy 3 to 4 pound single action trigger pull, and you're getting magazine capacity. Standard is 18 rounds of 9mm, which is, I don't know if you mentioned it's in 9mm, and that looks like about all it comes in.
mm-hmm.
And so I have to say I like CZ pattern guns, original CZs, or there's a number of copies. I actually have an EAA Witness, which is basically a CZ 75 copy. And they just happen to fit my hand. They're just nice shooters, comfortable. That's kind of, they're just nice. I don't know if they're $1,600 nice for this poor person like me, but hey, if I had the money, I'd probably buy one. Let's see what else they have. The barrel length's 4.61 inches. It weighs 2.4 pounds. So if you're shooting 9mm out of this heavy gun, it's not going to recoil much. The overall length is 8.15 inches. It's 5.79 inches high, and it's 1.46 inches wide. I think we pretty much covered about everything else we know about it. It does have a full-length dust cover with a rail on it, so I kind of don't know what the rail's for in a strictly target model, but it's there, so.
You need a barricade stop on there, right? So when you're shooting with plywood barricades, you just jam your dust cover right into the ledge, right?
Well, actually, what do you call it? What's the name of the laser company?
Crimson
Not
Trace.
Laser Light. Crimson Trace. Crimson Trace has a Crimson Trace shoot every year.
No, they canceled it.
Oh, really? They've had two of them, I think.
They had two, and now they canceled it.
Too many people went blind.
No. They used to have a night shoot. They used to have a night shoot for the last 2 years. And it was held here in Bend, Oregon, is where they had it last year. So, of course, because they're up in, like, Tualatin or somewhere up by Portland. But I sent him an email about it, and I was going to try to get to see if I could go shoot it this year. And then, of course, they come back and say, no, we canceled it. I'm like, man, 2 years and it's canceled.
That sucks, because it looks pretty cool, because they give away prizes, especially if you use their stuff. So, yeah, something like this could be used in that, because, of course, you can mount your laser and your light on it. But CZs are awesome. I always wanted one. That was one of my go-to guns, and I finally purchased one. I was looking up different things when you said you were going to have it on the show, and I think one of the funniest reviews is Coleon Noir. Right before he got picked up by NRA, did one on the CZ. And he did IPSC. I don't know if you know that. He ran 3-gun or something like that. He tried to do some of that, competitive shooting. And he said pistols should be divided up into 2 sections, people with CZs and people without. He said if you use a CZ in IPSC, you're cheating. That's how good these things are.
Oh.
I watched Angus, this guy, Nothing Fancy, had some kind of interview with him. The guy's a character, but the son of a gun can shoot, man, like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, I bet.
And he's like their version of Rob Latham.
Oh, I gotcha. The other thing that I will mention about the CZ Shadow Target 2 is it has a slightly different safety than the regular CZs do. It's kind of got a little plate, so when you rest your hand on the safety, your thumb, so to speak, you're not going to interfere with the slide, is kind of what it's like. I don't know if Tony can show us his CZ and put his thumb kind of resting on the safety. You can kind of see how, well, his thumb could run, kind of slow the slide down if you got a big thumb. And it's kind of got a little plate there to help with that. So.
Yeah, I can't wait till tomorrow because I really want to shoot my pistol.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what really makes this, I mean, I'm sure if you have just a plain Jane CC75, you'll be able to run it in 3-gun and do pretty well as long as you're you're competent with it and you're comfortable with it. You've shot it and you have a level of competency with it. But this really expensive model, the reason why it's kind of tuned for 3-gun competition is that it's got those adjustable sights, so you can really get this thing zeroed in at a good range and not have to use any kind of 6 o'clock hold or anything weird. You can tune this thing to exactly where you want the point of aim and point of impact to line up. Also, it's got that nice real estate on the grip. It seems like the magazine has a base plate that continues the contour of the grip. So it seems like if you've got gloved hands or big hands, you're going to have a nice contour there to make a good purchase on. Obviously, having that almost 1911-esque beaver tail, it's not actually a functioning safety, but it's got that beaver tail built into the frame. It's going to help protect your hands from, if you're running and gunning and your form's a little bit off, your grip's a little bit off on the frame, less chance for you to get slide bite. It's got that hammer on there. I don't, if you wanted to run, I don't know if that's going to really make a big difference if you're single action versus double action, because you're obviously going to have one in the tube and have it holstered before you start your stage. Also, that ambidextrous safety is going to be a really nice feature, especially with that painted red indicator. So a big thing about 3-gun is when you're done shooting, it needs to go on safe, whether it's going on the table because you're transitioning to another firearm or it's going in your holster. A lot of times the RSO needs to visibly see that yes, he put the gun on safe, he or she. So that's another nice feature on there. The 18-round capacity is going to be huge as long as you don't have any kind of magazine limits set to that stage. If they're limiting you to like 10 rounds per magazine, if there's no holds barred and you can shoot as much as you have, 18 rounds is going to be really nice versus someone shooting their Glock 19 and they're stuck with 15 rounds unless they're using Glock 17 mags or if they're just running Happy Sticks 33 rounders. But it really depends on how your match is set up for how they're trying to level the playing field for everyone shooting pistol. I mean, there's some guys that run 1911s in 3-gun competition, and they don't really care if the round count's high because they're proficient with reloading those 7 or 8 round magazines. So we got the link to CZ USA if you want to check out that custom Shadow Target 2. The next pistol we're going to talk about is actually a much more expensive, but I would say much more popular, and this has got to be the Rolls Royce of competition pistols. This is the STI DVC Open Competition Pistol. So, as I understand it, STI is just synonymous with 3-gun. As far as when you think of 3-gun pistols, you gotta mention STI because they just have so many good quality guns. Between the STI 2011 and the STI 1911, I mean, all those are just pretty much winners. But this one in particular is a little interesting. The MSRP, I'll just mention that right off the bat so that I don't disappoint you with mentioning all the cool stuff and then finding out it pretty much costs more than maybe even your car or your first car for sure. So the MSRP is $3,699. It's pretty much a 1911 on steroids, and then it was given like a whole 6-pack of Surge that's been sitting on the store shelf for years. It's got a 5-inch barrel that's precision fit. It's a bull barrel. It's coated with titanium nitride, which is kind of that almost gives it that gold finish that you see on a lot of custom Glocks, especially the who's making those custom Glocks with the titanium nitride barrels? It's just an A, I think.
Apex? No.
No, it's not Apex.
It'll come to us.
Yeah.
It's got a wider than standard frame with a full-length dust cover. All new sear design, which breaks crisply at 2 pounds to 2.5 pounds. All the steel parts are hard chromed. The other features included are a true-bore style integrated compensator that's also been treated with that gold-colored titanium nitride. It's got a custom grip, ambidextrous slide racker. It comes with a 6 MOA Seymour red dot sight, a Dawson guide rod, and it's offered in 38 Super and 9mm. So, and it comes with 2 magazines.
2 flush fit magazines.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna say if you click on their little mag capacity button, because of the style of guns they make, they list the 2011 in all these different millimeter length magazines, depending on what class you're shooting. Like the standard flush fit, it shows it's a 15 round capacity, and then if you go to the 126, which is slightly extended, it's 17, and then if you go to the 140, which is like USPSA, like limited division length for the magazine. Not that this gun would ever count as limited. Then it'll hold 20, or the 170 millimeter length, which is like USPSA open or something like that. The thing will hold 26 rounds, so that's in the magazine. So you're almost 30 rounds in the magazine in a handgun.
Wow.
And I'm sure being an STI complete open gun, this thing is most likely, at least the open gun I shot, it's hard to, if you've never shot one, it's hard to tell, but it's kind of like shooting a 22 pistol that's like 10 times louder, because you get a recoil impulse, but it's completely different than anything you would expect like a normal standard handgun would be. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, I've shot these things too, and they just, not this, but yeah, actually, it was STI build, and they're just awesome, and don't do it. Just don't do it to yourself.
Yeah, you'll want
just
one
don't.
Forever. You want one forever.
It'll be like driving a regular car, and then like for a bachelor party, you and your boys get together and like rent an exotic like car, or get yourself like a Rolls Royce. And you guys hang out in there all weekend. You don't want to get in your Kia after you rode around in the weekend in a Rolls. I'm just saying, don't do it.
Yeah.
So this is like the midlife crisis gun for someone who's a gun owner.
That's exactly what it is. So I should buy one.
Why don't they just call it that? Instead of DVC, it should be MLC, midlife crisis. But actually, what we were trying to figure out the name of that company that makes those custom Glocks. That's Assailant Arms. I finally figured it out.
Okay.
There you go.
How I figured it out is because I was thinking of that Dynamic Pi Concepts video with that titanium nitrated high point that was like running ridiculously good. Or the video was clips that was running like almost full auto.
Yeah.
So that's how I found that. But anyway, back to this guy. Weighs 48 ounces. It's not a light gun, but you kind of surprised with all the stuff on there that it wouldn't be a little bit heavier. That grip on there looks like it's got kind of a really nice tacky texture to that to give you a good purchase.
Yeah, kind of like they put like kind of scales. It's kind of what cutouts, but yeah, it's different than the standard like 2011 frames. It's a good grippy texture of whatever it is. Yeah.
So, you got 9mm and 38 Super in case, depending on if you're running different classes of power. Also this is a gun that's kind of at home with IPSC and other acronyms that involve shooting pistols really fast. I was almost going to say IPSC, USPA, USDA. That's USDA is not right. So the website for that is STI Guns. Obviously, that's really expensive, and most guys that are going to shoot 3-gun, they're going to think, well, why am I going to spend that much? I'll just go get a long slide Glock, and that'll do me. Well, I thought about that, and so the next gun that we're going to talk about is the Glock 34 It's the Gen 4, and it's actually the MOS variety that just came out this year. MOS standing for Modular Optics System. So pretty much it's a Gen 4 Glock 34, which is a long slide long slide 9mm pistol. So you get the longer sight radius that a lot of people enjoy in competition, as well as 9mm, which is competent enough to knock down most reactive steel targets, but also it doesn't cost a bunch, and then you don't have that insane recoil impulse. But it's basically set up to run with optics, and that's the whole thing behind the MOS system. So they offer different plates for you to choose from. It looks like there's 4 different plates that are compatible with different micro red dot sights. So like your Trijicon RMR, Burst Fastfire, the new Vortex Venom or Viper. So you've got that option to, if you don't already own a Glock that you want to run competition with, or maybe you've got a Glock that's only for concealed carry, like a 26 or a 42, and you like the idea of getting a Glock platform specifically for competition shooting, this would be it for sure. So if you can get the 34, or if you're a 40 Smith & Wesson guy, you can get the 35. Or if you really want 45 ACP for competition, you really want to knock down those pepper poppers with authority, you can get the Glock 41. Or you can get the Glock 40 and just knock those down with 10mm slugs all day.
Well, some of the 3-gun, if you're running, some of them have heavy metal class where you're shooting pump shotguns and 45 ACP pistol.
And 308 rifles.
Yeah, so, maybe you would want the G41.
And they're playing Iron Maiden in the background, if it's
heavy
metal.
They might be.
Hey, look, that's for tough guys. Let me tell you, man. You run around shooting 308s, pump shotguns, and 45s. Oh yeah, you're putting in work. You're putting in work that day.
I'm just saying, but being a Glock, it does have an advantage over some of the others in 3-gun, is that you don't have to actually put it on safe when you either reholster it or put it on a table or something like with the other guns we've showed. You have to physically put the safety on when you switch firearms. Well, with the Glock, you don't have to do that in 3-gun because it's inherently safe. So you just kind of toss it in the barrel or toss it on the table, whichever kind of works for you, and away you go to the next gun.
Drag it behind your truck, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Ugh.
If they wanted to send me one to drag behind my truck, I would do that for them.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you've got a Doctor, an Insight, a Meopta, a Seymour, a Loophole, Delta, Point, there's plates to pretty much have you covered there. And also, if you don't want to run an open class, there's a cover plate, obviously, that comes with it that you can just remove that entirely and have it more streamlined. But it's nice to see popular pistol manufacturers coming out with a red dot sight compatible version. You've got the Smith & Wesson M&P Core, or M&P Pro Core, that's got similar setup. That's really nice to have, and of course, obviously you're no longer having to buy the pistol, then take it to a gunsmith or a machinist or send it off somewhere to have it cut for a red dot, which is really nice. And I'm sure that increases the sales for those micro red dot sights, and they're going to get more popular, because when you're shooting fast and you're transitioning from target to target, nothing's faster than a red dot. I mean, you can get really good with iron sights, but a red dot's always going to have a slight edge. Of course, depending on if it's blistering hot in the desert and that dot kind of washes out, then you might start to struggle. So the only thing we were talking about earlier is everything that we're seeing on Glock's website. This pistol does not have taller sights, like suppressor sights. It's got standard height sights. So I don't know if they accidentally did that for all these images on the website, or whether they actually come with just those standard sights. So you don't have the option to co-witness. You use your rear and front sight blade if your battery's dead or you're not your sight isn't turned on. So that's kind of disappointing. If I were to get this, I would instantly go and get taller suppressor sights to swap out. But yeah, all in all, it's a Glock. Glocks always can be modified. You know, they say Glock perfection, but it's funny all the things you can do to make it more perfect, or between trigger jobs and replacing out the connector bars to get a lighter trigger with less travel. So it's always good. However, if you do not want to buy a new Glock, say you just got like a Glock 17 and you've got lots of mags for it, you've shot lots of rounds through it, you think it's just the best thing since sliced bread. Well, you want to run a red dot sight on it anyway, and you don't want to have the slide cut to facilitate that. I've found a solution to you that you might be interested in, that you might scoff at. It's really up to you. So, Strike Industries makes a Glock rear sight adapter, which pretty much goes on top of your stock Glock pistol, and it gives you a little bit of Picatinny rail for you then to add whatever optic you want. You know, as long as that optic can mount to Picatinny rail. So you're not limited to micro red dots. However, the strength of those is going to be that they aren't really tall, so you're not going to have something you're not aiming through an optic that's standing, 3 inches above your bore axis. So a micro red dot that mounts Picatinny, like the Redfield's accelerator, or some of these red dots that come with Picatinny mounts. Those are what you're going to be able to use on this, and then you can easily convert it back to something for just regular carry when you're not competing. So that's kind of the advantage there. It MSRP's for $49.95. Brownells has it for a flat $50. So if you've got like the Edge program, you can at least get it for free shipping. So basically, what it is just replaces your back plate on your slide, and it's got actually built-in iron sights for the rear. So it's got it's got a slot that's milled right through the Picatinny rail, so you can still look through to your front sight. Even with most optics mounted that don't have like a crossbar going right across the block, basically your line of sight through that, you got a nice little sight channel. It looks like it does replace your dovetail rear sight, however. So it looks like it's a twofold. It kind of, you take out your rear sight, you slide this into the dovetail, and then you fasten it down into the back plate that this comes with. So at least it's going to stay on there well. And they even offer a speed racker also that you can buy and mount onto that, so it'll help you with if you're having to rack your slide a little bit easier with the big old thumb latch on there. So what do you guys think about this?
I think it's too tall.
Yeah, I think it's really high. I was watching a video with it, and I'm like, well, by the time you get used to the height, and you've been shooting 3-gun for a while, and you decide to get the MOR from Glock or whatever, and you decide to make that move, you're going to be so used to that 3 inches over bore sight picture that you're just going to have to get used to something new all over again when you get it.
Yeah, well, that 3 inches was an exaggeration, but based on the pictures, it's a little less than a whole inch difference. So if you can imagine the dot being an inch higher from the MOS, so it is a little tall. This would be like if you really wanted to try it, you weren't so sure, you only wanted to be $50 in plus your optic.
Red dot.
Yeah, your price point's pretty good for this, considering what you're getting, and like you said, if you just want to try it out or kind of see if you like it or not. And I think the height is more, it just kind of looks high, but when you compare it, like if you take a look at the STI we talked about with that Seymour on there, really that Seymour sits up probably about the same height.
Yeah.
So it's not as bad. It's just short and stubby, so it looks taller, I think.
I was thinking about this as I was looking at this piece, and I'm like, how much do you spend on the red dot? And then I was thinking, yes, you can probably get a used red dot, pick this up for 50 and not be too deep into it. Because once you start going to 3-gun, a lot of people have, equipment that they sell when they get out or bought something is no longer using it. So you could probably get in really cheap with this. So I think it might be a better deal than initially I thought it would be.
Yeah. I mean, on Brownells, there's only one review. They give it 5 stars. The guy said that best uses self-defense, tactical, target practice. He said that this is the best option for his Glock 26. So he did put it on a compact, which is interesting. He said that with a bit of paint on the sights, they were dead on. He can't wait to put laser sight on his Glock. So I don't know whether if there's paint on the inside of these that's not quite usable. If you were to utilize the sight channel underneath the gun, you might want to fill in those two like debossed or embossed circles with some paint to kind of give you a brighter picture. So it's kind of nice that you can still use your iron sights if your optic goes down. But because there's going to be such a small channel for that light to come through, you're going to find it difficult to find your shot and line up your sights, as opposed, not nearly as fast as if you actually had that optic on and functioning. But I think it's pretty interesting. The little screw, the speed, let's see what they call it. The Glock rear sight mount charging handle is only $6 on Brownells too. So if you wanted to put a kind of charging handle on your Glock slide, also, they're only $6, and then it looks like it just threads right into this existing product that Strike Industries is putting out. So kind of interesting. It might be your cup of tea. It might not. They've got videos on Strike Industries' website of people shooting with the red dot mounted on their Glocks. So if you want to see it in action, you can check out those videos. They look like they're hitting their targets pretty quickly, transitioning very proficiently. So it doesn't look that bad when you see it actually in use. I think maybe some of these still images might paint a picture that might be a little, give you a first impression that's not absolutely correct. But I'd say, man, get a 10 millimeter, put this on there, and get some kind of like cantilever scope mount, and put a 4-power scope on there. Bam, dude, you just got a scope on your 10 millimeter.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I think the 10 millimeter is an awesome pistol anyway, and I really want one, like one of my future guns, the 10 millimeter Glock.
Yeah.
And with the red dot on there, I don't care which one I get. If I get an old one, I can put something like this on it.
Yeah. The only thing is after the recoil of that shot, and obviously the slide reciprocating, you would very much lose your sight picture with a scope. But that doesn't really matter as much with a red dot sight, especially with like a long slide 9 millimeter. That's probably going to be shooting real smooth. So anyway, next up, something that I've noticed that the smart people bring to 3-guns, the competitors that have gone more than once. I first saw this with a couple that actually already had children, and their children have gotten older to the fact that they don't need strollers. They actually converted their existing baby strollers to basically tote around their 3-gun gear between courses. So your ammo, your shotgun, your rifle, all your magazines, all that gear is very easy to tote around when you've got a stroller that's got wheels on it, especially if it's a non-paved kind of primitive road. It really makes it easy toting your gear around like that instead of trying to carry it all in a bag over your shoulder. So me and Chad were talking about this earlier today, and we're like, I wonder, someone's got to be making one specifically for guns. Sure enough, gunstrollers.com sells strollers specifically built for guns and being able to carry in competitions. So they've got the M100, which is a little bit cheaper, but the newest model is the M200. So it retails for $399.95, and you can have the option to add a gun stroller travel mug to your purchase for an extra $20 for one or $35 for two. So they don't have a lot of details on it, but what I can tell that it's got a pretty generous tray built into it that's got like some maybe 2.5 inch walls, so a fairly thick walled tray that you can put like your boxes of shotgun shells. You can kind of use that as a miniature workstation with you. Obviously, it's got built-in almost like gun racks, so you can set your shotguns or carbines kind of in those racks, and they're in an inclined position, kind of leaning away from you if you imagine yourself pushing the stroller. And they've also got a bottom shelf where I imagine the stocks of these shotgun or carbines or rifles would rest in. So this would kind of be a way to carry all your guns or backup guns to stages, or if you're shooting with a partner, carry both of your guys' long guns between stages. What do you guys think? I mean, obviously the price point is really ridiculous. I would much rather go to the store and buy a used baby stroller, or borrow somebody's, or buy somebody's baby stroller that they don't have a use for anymore, and then just convert it that way. Start bolting on the PVC piping, but
yeah, but go ahead, Tony.
All right, first competition I ever went to in Jersey was not three gun, cowboy action. And this is when I saw these, but I never saw anything like this. These guys built the coolest strollers I ever saw. It had all the guns. They had a folding workstation, and a lot of them even had benches. So you pull up, and people are shooting on a course, and you have to wait your turn. You just pull up, chock the wheels, and sit down. They have benches built into them that were so much better than this thing. But I was amazed. I was like, what is that? And these guys were just all walking around with them, and it was awesome. Some were like four-wheelers, had 4 big wheels on it like this, and it was great. And then I'm looking at this going, yeah, you're spending way too much money for what you're getting. You need to come over here to Jersey.
Yeah, the price seems a little steep, but, anything like this, if you're shooting 3-gun, you're definitely going to want something. I mean, if nothing else, take your little red wagon and throw your guns in it.
And then get points for style.
This, of course, you put the guns in, the long guns, and they point up, so that's always a good thing. Things like that. So it has some advantages. Got
a cup holder too.
It's got a cup holder. It, like Tony said, I guess you could sit on that front wheel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm more into making one, but they're so big too. Even folded, these things are huge. So unless you shoot a lot of 3-gun, I don't think it's worth it. I have seen, now of course, I have seen a guy that he drives around in a golf cart. So I think he's got it a little better.
Yeah. I mean, these do have a little bit of a custom flair to them. It looks like it's got the logo that's been burned into wood, and that wood is then screwed onto the front of that tray. So it's almost got like an old Western placard that's just screwed to the front of this thing. The tray itself looks like it's got some kind of aluminum diamond plating texture to the bottom. I don't know if it's actual aluminum or whether it's some kind of synthetic that's got that diamond pattern to it.
Yeah. I'm guessing
the concept is strong, and I know that anybody listening to this that hasn't already done so, and maybe has a kid that's grown out of needing a stroller, is already scratching their beard, thinking, I can make something like that. I mean,
I did that when we had one, and then I finally gave up and said it's too much trouble. I don't shoot that much 3-gun.
Yeah. So now you know that new parents or new fathers, and they're going shopping with their wife. They're looking at strollers. Now they have an alternative motive. Sweetie, let's get this one. Well, this one's an extra $100, and I think this is going to work out better for our children. And when you're thinking, oh man, I can put a tray there. I can have some extra guns there. So I mean, their M100 holds 5 long guns, and apparently their M200 holds 9. It's got a nice little. It's got like a compartment with a lid on it, So I don't know if you're putting your snacks in there or if you want something out of the sun. You kind of lift the lid and can tuck it in there. That looks like that was on the 100. I don't know if the 200 has that little hidey hole. But anyway, it's an interesting concept that you will definitely see people using makeshift actual baby strollers. It's going to be more affordable, more customizable for you if you're a tinkerer and you know exactly the gear you have and how much capacity you need. All you need to know is that you're not going to be laughed at for going to a 3-gun match with a baby stroller, because more often than not, there'll be more than one of you out there, and everyone's going to look at you and think, man, that's a smart idea, as they're lugging their 20 pounds of gear to the next course. So if you want to check that out, just for reblogging or whatnot, it's gunstrollers.com. So we don't have a review this week, shame on us, but we are talking about a lot of gear and trying to cram it all into one episode, so you'll understand us for that. I did find something, actually, for the Tech Gadget or App segment that I think you guys are going to like. It's from the company Laser Ammo Training Technologies, and it's the Sure Strike Ultimate Training Package. So it looks like someone's actually put together a fairly affordable laser training package that actually will help you with your pistols as well as your AR-15. So it MSRPs for $470, but all the stuff you get with it, it's actually a really good deal. So it includes laser cartridges for training with any 9mm 40 Smith & Wesson or 45 ACP semi-automatic pistol, and your 223 AR-15. So they have bolts for all those, and it also comes with a they call it their Laser Pet Electronic Target. So that's kind of interesting too. It is really compact. It can kind of fold up, but it also keeps track of your shots, obviously. Have you guys been able to take a look at this?
I was looking at it. I was looking for more information the other day on it, but I didn't. I got distracted. That'll happen.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool with how it's, it's got a webcam that comes with it, so it'll, I'm assuming it hooks to your computer somehow, and then tracks like on the targets they supply, so it'll like track where you're hitting, and then, like you said, the little laser pet electronic target looks like it's on like a little tripod that you can set up, and it's got like some numbers, like maybe, I don't know if maybe it will read how fast it took you or the shots, or
yeah. Well, I got the page up right here for it. So the Laser Pet Electronic Target, they can sell that separately for $119.95. So basically $120. So it's a standalone laser training target that, when combined with the Sure Strike laser cartridge, does not require a computer. It's a highly mobile target, can be easily moved around or set up for different scenarios in your home for laser training. So it helps improve your shooting skills with 3 modes. It can keep track of hits, acts as a shot timer, and even help you with help speed up your reload times. It also gives the shooter instant audible feedback when a hit occurs, and it's easy to read. A LED screen displays training statistics like hit times. It does not work with infrared lasers. So that's a $120 value right there. You've got the flexibility to, it seems like, adjust the receiver that actually receives those laser hits. You can adjust the angle of that. So if you're shooting at a downgrade or upgrade, you can adjust that, as well as the legs, so it stands up just right. The laser cartridges themselves, for instance, the 9mm Sure Strike laser cartridge, those retail for about $100 each. So let's see, the 9mm one's $99.95. So it's basically just like everyone else's laser cartridges, where you insert it into your chamber, and then you have to actually, unfortunately, you have to rack your slide every time you fire. So that's kind of a real drag. It'd be nice if there was somebody made a system to where using some kind of CO2 power and actually racked your slide, so you got the recoil impulse to kind of simulate real fire. But for like just drawing from your holster, or transitioning from one shot and running across to your kitchen from your living room and racking your slide once on the way there, kind of simulates clearing a malfunction, I guess. So you just load the cartridge into your weapon using their included user guide. Hang the included reflective targets that come with this across the room, and take aim and pull the trigger. Obviously it functions when you dry fire, and the emitting laser is eye safe, which is nice in case you accidentally shoot one of your kids in the eye. They're not going to go blind. You get instant visual feedback of shot placement. So it's basically just like every other dry fire laser cartridge.
Sweet.
But there's also something. Sorry, I just want to also mention they've got a software package also. So they got this virtual range set up. They call it the smokeless range. That's actually really cool, where you actually plug it into your computer, and it gives you an interactive shoot that obviously you have to have a projector really to make the most use out of it. So it projects it on the wall and gives you all sorts of marksmanship drills, recreational training drills, where there's a shoot the can, so the can doesn't fall down. You shoot it while it's dropping in the air. It's got a dueling tree, trap target shooting, tracking drills, speed drills, moving target drills, transitional drills. So they also offer a really cool indoor projected shooting system, and that's only $399. So I know I've seen like really expensive like shotgun trap virtual stuff set up, and that's in the thousands easy. So it looks to be a pretty affordable way for you to get into this kind of thing in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
So, what were you going to say, Tony?
Oh, I think this is a horrible idea. This is the internet. I don't have to actually do anything. I just tell everybody I'm great at shooting. You want me to actually use some skills and practice and build a skill set at home with my computer? I'm too busy on my PC telling everybody how great I am.
Okay, Grandpa, settle down. I mean, what if it's raining? What if you're broke? You can't afford ammo? This is just something that's really safe that you can use in your home. Technology's not bad. Put down your pitchfork.
I actually like it. It looks pretty cool, especially if it has all those drills. You could just work this to death, because dry firing gets really boring.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. But yeah, that's the thing, is things like this are so good at keeping you, I don't know, at your trigger finger in line or something. And that's the thing, is it's pretty cool. I mean, it says you save up to $30, but with all you're getting, it's a pretty good deal. I mean, you get the little target, like you were saying, the pet target, and then you have the other style that you hook to your computer, and you can shoot these targets and it'll track. So it's a good deal. Now, of course, the other software, the smokeless range you were talking about, now there's something that not to get, if you had a projector, would just be sweet. I mean, heck, I'm thinking about buying a projector in this just so I can have a shooting range in my house.
Actually, I'm thinking about it, wondering from the instructor perspective. I mean, I can get a lot of repetitions, get a lot of people out, you know what I mean, doing a lot more trigger pulling without having to get out on the range to do it and burning through ammo. Get over flinches, maybe not even develop one, or help them get over a flinch because somebody decided their first gun should be a .357 Magnum. I mean, there's a lot of things, something like this. I mean, this is a great training aid, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you have a pistol that's got a hammer, that's really where you're going to shine, because you can just do double action the whole time, and you won't have to rack the slide. So, same thing with some of those laser light products that we've reviewed in the past. If you've got a CZ75 with a hammer on there, you can just practice shooting using double action only.
Yep, or Yeah.
HK.
HK, 1911.
Yeah. Well, 1911 you can't because it's single action.
Yeah, you're double action only on your 1911.
Yeah. Then
You can cock the hammer.
Sorry, I was just running by pistols with hammers, and
Oh.
that was a flub.
Okay. But yeah,
I meant to say SR22. That's what I meant to say.
Or a SIG.
SIG, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, every
But
SIG.
yeah, the double action, anything with a double action that you can just keep pulling it. Yeah, that's where these things shine because you don't have to rack the slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, it's pretty cool.
And of course, that can help you when you're not competing in 3-gun, stay sharp with your skills, or just improve your skills before the 3-gun match. If you don't have time between work and family and kids and stuff to make it to the range a couple weeks before the match, this kind of gives you an opportunity to practice in the comfort of your home and not show up there cold turkey on range day or competition day and just kind of try and wing it and end up biffing it.
And another thing, most of you guys, we all usually have friends that shoot too. And boy, does this talk about fun bragging rights. You know what I mean? You can have all kinds of competitions at the house. Just a friendly get-together can turn into a shooting competition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is one of the reasons why I want to get a projector, because this kind of thing would be fun if you've got a nice big wall.
This is like a built-in video game with real purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really it is. The more I look at it, I need to get off this show. You people are making me spend way too much money being on this thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, check that out. Laser-ammo.com. So there's a dash in between laser and ammo. Got the link in the show notes, too, to check that out. But yeah, $470 is actually a really good deal. It looks like they're out of stock right now on their website, but you might be able to email them or figure out if there's another package that's maybe got less in it that, say you don't need the ability to use this in your AR-15. You can just get a reduced, a cheaper package that's only for pistols. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I got no listener feedback this week, but I want to make sure to plug this special event, this 2015 Bullpup Shoot we got going on in Mount Carroll, Illinois on September 19th. So obviously there's a lot of Firearms Radio Network staff that live in Illinois. They're obviously going to be there. So if you're in the area, if you're an Illinois resident, or you're going to be traveling through on the 19th of September, make sure to go to that Bullpup Shoot and hang out with some guys and shoot some awesome bullpups. So the website for that is bullpupshoot.com. Now I'm going to go ahead and, since we're talking about cool events, I'm sure Tony's got some cool events going on in the friendly state of New Jersey, do you not?
Oh, yeah. I have my shoot coming up on September 17th. The second is for everyone diversity shoot. It's coming up at Gun for Hire Range. Go on my Facebook page, Simon Says Train, click on the event, and let me know you're coming. We have more people now going than ever gone before, saying they're going to show up at the event. And I have more sponsors coming through with really cool stuff. Here's a hint. If you live in Jersey, you better have a firearms ID card if you want to get on this raffle or the giveaway that I'm going to be having. Here's a hint. It's going to be a big event, and you're going to wish you were there. Pretty much that's it. I have more stuff coming. I have more gear coming from different sponsors. I can't believe how many people are actually chipping in and helping me out on this. So, again, it's September 17th at Gun for Hire Range, Woodland Park, New Jersey. And thanks a lot for having me on and spreading this word about the Second Amendment and how important it is to get involved in your Second Amendment in your state.
Absolutely. So, in conclusion, send questions or comments to myself, podcast at firearmsinsider.tv or cross at firearmsradio.tv. Make sure you send us any questions or suggestions or comments, or if you just want to generally flame on us, that's fine too. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv/iTunes. And be sure to visit the Firearms Insider website for reviews and future industry coverage. So thanks a lot, guys, for joining me this week. It was great talking to you and hearing some of your expertise.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks for letting me brag on that fundraising match. So that's a big help.
Oh yeah, everyone gets their say on this show.
That's good.
Yeah, I hope your
Except
friend's
TJ.
okay, man.
Yeah, he's doing better. So he should make a full recovery and be back training soon.
So he got hit by shrapnel, huh? What was
Yep.
he videotaping for SPS Russia?
Maybe. I
I'm glad he's okay, man.
yeah. Thanks.
Yep. So if you want to tune in to the next episode 97, that will be about carbines and AR-15s and all sorts of goodies for that. So if that's what you've been anxiously waiting for, catch the next week's episode. So everyone have a good
Steve,
week. Shoot safe, stay cool, and we'll catch you on the next episode.